I'll just reiterate my strong concerns with this increased spending proposal of $259 billion. We on this side of the aisle, we lost the majority in the election of 2018. And it's been one-party rule in this state starting in 2019. The budget that year was $168 billion, $90 billion less than this year's budget in just 7 years. That increased spending is unsustainable. It is leading to an exasperation of the affordability of living in this state, and we're seeing it with people voting with their feet and leaving the state. We're seeing it with our largest industry in this state, the financial services industry, 20% of our total revenues leaving this state for greener pastures, leaving to Texas where they're being lured. And now we have the biggest players in the financial services industries encouraging their top employees to leave New York State. The concerns are immense, but just in addition to the spending increases of $90 billion in 7 years, the state's population has only increased 1.5% since that time. So the per capita spending is much higher than it was. We have in this budget proposal 162 Article 7s. The New York Heat Act, which has absolutely nothing to do with this budget, and I'm not asking any questions on this because we have members here that are eager to ask these questions. But policies in here in this budget, like allowing bars and restaurants to buy 12 bottles of liquor or wine from a liquor store, that's not related to a budget. It's just things in here that are totally unrelated to the spending plan and should not be included in a budget. They should be debated individually on this floor so that we can get into the pros and cons of each. Certainly, in a $259 billion budget, there's a lot of good things in here that you can look at and say, yeah, that's good, that's great. But is it affordable, and is it sustainable for the citizens of New York State to continue down this road of spending? Increasing $90 billion in just 7 years, from a $168 billion budget, which was too big then, to a $259 billion budget, which is way too big today. This budget further does nothing to, despite all the spending, does nothing to pay down the unemployment insurance debt that was built up during COVID. My understanding is the Assembly's one-house budget does eliminate that, which is an important thing to eliminate for the cost of doing business in New York, so that employers are not being assessed fees upon every employee when 35 other states in this country used their federal COVID relief funds to pay down that debt, yet we're still somewhere around $7 billion owed on that, and taxing every employer every year on that. It's something that needs to be paid down. It's something that we should be addressing in this budget. It's something we should have addressed in the last several years' budgets. And it's just, it's not appropriate to not be dealing with that. It's irresponsible to not be paying that down. We need to be looking at ways to make the cost of doing business in New York lower, the cost of living in New York lower. Most everything in this budget is making things more expensive and less affordable, and that is not the direction that we should be going. But thank you, Madam President. I'll be voting no on this one-house budget resolution and encouraging others to join me. Thank you.